The more I travel and the more I see, the luckier I realize that we are, that we have this place that is so untouched, so perfect, so biodiverse, yet at the same time it's only 3.5 hours from New York or an hour and a half from Miami. But when you're there in that bay, it's impossible for any place to feel more remote than Tropicalia. Right at the time when I was about 8 or 9 was when my father started getting curious about discovering an even more remote place for the family in the Dominican Republic.
A group of scientists from the Smithsonian had come here about 25 years before, and they had made a study which I had seen in Washington, D.C., and it intrigued me when I came here to find out what this place was, because no one seemed to know where it was.
The Dominican Republic is a vast island, and back then it had very little infrastructure. So every day was an absolute adventure. We traveled the entire island, either by small plane, by helicopter, by horses, by mules, and a lot of motorcycles. That project took about 10 years. The first piece of land that we discovered was this amazing tropical forest, which is where we now have our farm called La Querencia.
I made an immense effort to try to see if we could manage this land for the future. Since day one, this was a family place, and we lived very simply there to try to understand the farm and try to understand, our surroundings.
It was from that area that we could look down the coastline in the Bay of Samaná and very slowly started discovering what that coastline felt like and looked like until we arrived at what today is Tropicalia.
We got there, and it was the most beautiful sight in the whole world.
Every time I'm walking down the beach in Tropicalia, I think, wow, this really has to be the most beautiful place in the world. There's this incredible cove with the most perfect break and the most incredible sunsets. You're walking and you see the local fishermen coming in. You hear about the leatherback turtles being about to give birth, and then if you're lucky, you get to catch that magical moment. You also get the humpback whales, which come to have their baby calves in the winter.
There's also a beautiful mangrove lake in our property, unique in its quality of the water, unique of the fisheries that we have, and of the birds. When Adriana came to me and decided that she wanted to develop this project for long-term for the family and for other people, I think we were ready for that transition, because this is so big that we have to share this vision with other people. And also, it's part of our personality, it's part of what we are, and it's part of what we want to give back to the Dominican Republic.
I think the second thought I probably had after we decided to develop Tropicalia was, and we need to start the Fundación Tropicalia immediately so that we can start understanding the community that's going to be a part of our project. There's an incredible team at Fundación Tropicalia that are extremely well trained in things like organic farming or a sustainable approach to architecture and water management. So I'm very proud of the fact that we're about to break ground, and the Fundación Tropicalia has been working with the community for 13 years. Our project is only going to be amazing because of the deep knowledge that we have because of the work of the Fundación Tropicalia. Tropicalia is a place that will always be low density. The low density comes from both wanting to make sure that we develop the land responsibly, also that we give people that are seeking privacy the opportunity to be able to build a home in a place that they know is never going to get crowded. So we searched the world looking for somebody like Issei Wainfield. His architecture is innately very low impact. He's also an architect that is always looking for a local context. He spent so many trips traveling around the Dominican Republic, And he took cues from there in terms of materials and certain architectural elements that he managed to integrate into his very modernist tropical designs.
I think I was especially inspired by the very simple constructions in the villages of the island. And also by the Corallina stone, a local stone very, very common in the colonial architecture of the Dominican Republic. There is a communion of values in the project with Adriana, Gustavo, and all parties involved. That affinity, that synchronicity with the client in the respect to the local, natural, and social contexts, that's very, very important to me.
Miches' sense of space and time really inform his designs. And he has an incredible understanding of what it means to live happily in the tropics. The experience of Tropicalia for a child is pure magic. I mean, this place is so wild. It's a place where kids can go snorkeling and discover this whole world of coral and fish, or you might be lucky enough to see the turtles swimming in the ocean. There's sort of this innate sense of adventure. And it's a place where they can run wild while feeling completely independent, but always knowing that they're actually in a very safe environment.
Tropicalia is heaven on earth. It is my hope for other families that they can come and enjoy Tropicalia as we have already for 40 years.
I think as I reflect on the amazing memories that I have from an early age with my dad and the relationship that I now have with my children, I realize how important it is to build a place like Tropicalia, where we feel best just being a mom and a dad with their kids. And that's very much what we're trying to accomplish in a place like Tropicalia.